Peace Dependency Podcast is brought to you by shopcityandmerch.com. For a game that's been pronounced dead since Glitch Color, since Game Crash, since Rebirth, we still find a way to revolutionize the game. Not really with playing the game, but hardware of the game. The game is now 40 years old, hardware is 40 plus years old, so Ben and Ava of the company Padless are trying to make a controller without rubber pads in them. They call it the Padless controller. Hi, my name is Franco Sonuna Surmeza. Welcome to the second episode of Season 6 of the Peace Dependency Podcast. Ben and Ava from Padless are on the show. Really looking forward to this conversation. They have the full story of how Padless was created, the first prototypes, and how they continue. We also talked about Ben's career and Ava's rapid growth within NES Tetris. Episode is a little bit on the shorter side. We had some technical difficulties with Ava's audio, so bear with us. My quality of Ava can fluctuate a little bit. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoy our conversation. This is our conversation. Ben, Ava, welcome to the Peace Dependency Podcast. Thank you so much for doing this.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Hey, first question is always the same question to everyone who's new on the podcast, and that is, how did you get into NES Tetris?
Do you want to go first? Because you're going first. Yeah, that's a good idea. So, I first joined the community in early September 2019. I started playing the game, basically because at our high school, there's usually like a game that people play like on their Chromebooks during their free time, and at this point in time, that game was Tetris. And actually, to clarify, this was around like spring 2019. And I was looking up how to get good at Tetris. And then I saw this one video from Tafokins. Tafokins, I'll never forget you. And then, I got my sprint down to like on 40 line sprint on J-Asterisk. I got my 40 line sprint down to below a minute. And because I was really just anticipating my mom getting me a Nintendo for my birthday because I really wanted one, because I really wanted to start playing Tetris.
Like the Switch?
And, no, like the NES.
Okay.
Because we have like a local retro gaming store, and she got me one for my birthday. I was really watching those old highlights of Jonas versus Joseph. I think I've watched that match around 10 times. I basically watched the entire 2018 CWC like multiple times over, just anticipating it. And when I got it, I was playing it all the time, especially during COVID. Wow, like many hours a day.
Who hasn't played a lot of NES Tetris during COVID?
Oh no, yeah, that's how so many of today's top players got to where they are. Just their COVID grind times. So,
but what was NES Tetris? The Tetris that you played during high school, was it J-Tris or something like that?
Yeah, J-Asterisk. It's basically this like website, more like a modern Tetris type of thing, where hard drop and like next box. It's 4 next boxes. Precursor to Tetrio. Yeah, basically. Mm-hmm.
It's more modern guideline Tetris.
Yeah, so I actually did play Tetris before this. I played like Tetris Party for my Nintendo DS back in like elementary school. Like I really spent so much time on like doing these little puzzles where you have to like make a shape with the Tetraminos.
Yeah.
It's a really fun game.
Tetris really has been a part of your life since early.
Yeah, basically.
And Ava, how did you get into NES Tetris?
Barely over a year now. It was last summer 2024. Like no other videos just captured my attention like so immediately. I was I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like I learned about rolling and game crash and colors and all of that, and it just all of it blew my mind. I must have watched that video like easily a dozen times that summer. And I also got the CTWC 2024 in my YouTube feed as a result of watching that video. And I'm like, well, okay, I gotta watch it. I gotta root for Alex. I mean, we all remember CT24. Those were some of the most exciting matches. Even to this day, it was incredible. And it was really watching that and watching him win that made me realize, like, okay, one, I think I could be good at this. And also, I really want to be a part of this. Like, this seems like a great community. I have a background in esports. So I actually came into Tetris from competitive Overwatch. I played for my school, my college. And Tetris is definitely a change of pace if you know anything about Overwatch. It's a very like
It's a bit
high-paced
quicker.
game, you know. It's like the ADHD game. And then
Yeah.
so going from that to Tetris felt, very slow, very simple. But there was something about it that was just addicting. And I also have a background in speed cubing. So there's a lot of parallels that I see between competitive speed cubing and competitive Tetris.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, ever since last summer, I've just completely fallen in love with the game. And just the spirit of the players to keep pushing it to its limit.
But when you started playing NES Tetris, did you still think, oh, this is a slower paced game compared to Overwatch? Or like, okay, this is a bit quicker than I thought?
Like, oh, this is quicker than I thought. I didn't really understand, like, how difficult dash control was. So I tried level 18, which is like what people started at. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can clear a couple lines in there. But definitely, like, my experience with Tetris in the past was being just sort of bored of it. The kids at my high school would also play Tetris, but like I tried it and I just wasn't any good at it. I played with like my friends like Puyo Puyo Tetris when that came out for the Switch.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't very good at it then either. But I think it definitely wasn't as slow paced or boring as I expected because I started playing on level 7 starts. That was how I started playing the game.
Yeah.
And I mean when you're brand new, level 7 starts are exciting as 29 starts.
Yeah, still feel the same way with if I play on level 19, that's not my main cup of tea, start maining on 15, but if I play 19, that's like, okay, this is exciting. Yeah, so how did you two meet? Did you two meet before either of you knew each other from the Tetris scene, or did you meet because of the Tetris?
Okay, so our origin story dates back to early August 2024 when this was her first competitive Tetris event, and I was just going to WPL because I've been going since 2022, and I like to go because a lot of our friends meet up there and we have fun times together. It's also a really good Tetris competition too.
One of
And
the biggest
yeah,
regionals.
yes, by far. Like, wow, there's so many top players, especially this year. And then last year with Tristop, wow, that tournament was just like wonderful to watch. But yeah, um, I went there. I was just playing the game, hanging out with my friends, and then I see her walk in. Like we were qualifying and we were in the line, and I see her in front of me. I thought she was kind of cute, so like, yeah, I was just yeah, I just had that in the back of my mind like the whole day basically,
Yeah.
and I was a little too nervous to go up to her, but yeah, so. After the tournament is when things really kind of started between us. Like you can go into that.
So that's sort of how we met. It was a
Mm.
mutual friend. It's Katie who gets the credit.
Yeah, no, she messaged me and said that I was gonna I was gonna get
You can't say that.
yeah, I was gonna get a piece of it at Cleveland. And I'm like, from who? And then she was like, Ava. I'm like, what? I was going crazy in my room. I was freaking out.
Are you living together, or are you living far apart from each other?
Um, yeah, so currently I live in New Jersey and she lives in Ohio. So it's not like,
Cleveland.
yeah, so it's not like the farthest, right? But like it's still long distance. Like it's like 7 to 7.5 hours drive to go see her.
Oof.
The drive yesterday from Cleveland to Edison.
You really have to plan when you want to see each other.
Yeah.
it's not as easy as driving in on a Friday night and leaving
Yeah,
at Sunday or something like that.
exactly. Yeah.
Ava, your progression in NES Tetris has been very quick, can I say. You started with a 350k in July of 2024, and you have now, last week I think, a PB of 1.25. In a little bit over 12 months, that's a major, major improvement.
Yeah, I would have progressed even faster, but so much more dedicated. Remember the moment that we really started working on it was I had a session where I was just getting so frustrated at my controller. I was double flipping like, multiple times every game, and I'm like, screw this. Like,
Yeah.
get better at this game at any point. I'd say I got rolling, like I got down rolling really quickly. Mechanics were very strong. That was something that was surprising to a lot of people at TPL. They're like, oh, this person's doing like 12 starts, like 15 starts, and has like a 300 kpb, but is hitting like 30 left or like 30 hertz 5 tap. So that definitely made
Yeah.
up for my stacking for a long time, and then I had to get better at stacking, and now I'm having to get better at like both. But I haven't really like grinded to get better at Tetris. Just played really mostly to test the controllers and what I'm as addicted to it as anybody else that likes this game is.
It's the next goal when we'll talk about Padless, when Padless is a little bit up and running. Is the goal a rollover?
Definitely, I want to get a rollover. That's like my bare minimum goal. Like with this game, if nothing else, I want to get rollover. I want to qual it into gold bracket. I want to and things like colors eventually. I think would be really cool. I want to qualify master. I have a lot of ambition with this game.
It's how much of your progression is did Ben help with? Did he help with stacking, rolling tech tips and all that?
Yeah, like I mean, I basically helped with a little bit of everything. I mean, in the beginning, it was more like technique, but she kind of was like naturally, I'd say like, you know, naturally good at rolling, I'd say, because she'd be hitting the really fast 5 taps, but then at the same time, like she just wouldn't really know how to stack good. And so I was like, so mainly it was stacking advice. Yeah, I'd say.
So if you're pretty much the definition of rollers can play high but can't stack.
Sort of, yeah. In many
Basically,
ways, yes.
and basically what tappers were when they the stigma
Hmm.
about tappers.
Yeah.
So, and Ben, for you, it feels like you were always good enough to qualify for the top tier tournaments, but unfortunately never got far in the tournaments. And if you qualified, for example, challenges circuit, you pretty much always made semis.
Yeah.
Wasn't it frustrated that you can qualify for the top tournaments but never got far in the tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, I had like a few moments of success. Like I won Jersey Shore, I won Blank Garage. Those were pretty good tournaments. But it definitely was like frustrating because I blamed that a lot on like my ability to control my emotions. Like in the past, I've been like really bad at that. Like I would have like big moments where I'd like get mad on stream, like back in like 2019 when I first started playing the game. I'd blame everything on like external factors. I'd be like, what the heck is this RNG? But in reality, it's just like me, like when I when I like started blaming myself for things, like I've gotten a little better at it. But with tapping, I don't know. And also like my stacking wasn't the greatest. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just never really, I was never Yeah, I watched a lot of Harry Hong, to be frank. But yeah, he's not really like the modern meta of stacking is kind of just like looking for any adjustments that you can get, basically, and like
Yeah.
adjusting accordingly based on the next box. Like Harry Hong would kind of just like place the piece like instantly and like not really, I don't know, consider the next piece really. That's kind
Yeah.
of what carried over into my modern stacking. I never like bothered to fix it really. But even with rolling, like my moments of success have been there for sure. But it's just like my five taps. Like my technique has always been like a point of I don't know, it's always been a point of failure for me. I think it's like my pinky and ring finger have always like, they go too close together sometimes, and that's like something that really messes me up for sure. Cause
Mm.
I don't know, the way I work is like if I it's like random when I miss a five tap, like I can miss like a two left, but then hit a 10 left like right after.
Oh yeah,
And then like all my other taps are like I'd say near 100% consistency, but then that's like my five
yeah,
taps that I've been struggling with. But definitely yeah, I'd say my controller hasn't really caused me issues until, the first instance where it tore. I'd say 2022 really messed me up because there was this long period of time where um I'd be scared to use my pinky. And when you're not confident in your technique, um
yeah,
it just causes your whole, ability to play to like go down in the toilet.
yeah. And is on every level. If your control is not working, if you're double flipping, if whatever, you lose confidence and you lose
Yeah,
the ability to play good or on the level that you're
that's what
comfortable
happened.
on.
Yeah. So at CTWC 2022, my pads tore like 2 days before the tournament. I was panicking. And then all I had were like hydrants pads, like Hydrant lended me a couple pads. And none of them really worked that well because they're like stiff and you have to break them in. So like during the tournament, I didn't play all that good. Then I got really frustrated. And then for a while, I was scared of five taps. Now I'm getting better at it. Padless has definitely
Yeah.
helped with this.
So before we move on to Padless, I wanna highlight the tournament win of yours, the Blank Garage Qual in 2023. You defeated some pretty good players at the time. Then world champion
Yeah.
Eric ICX, the first rollover Hydrant dude. Like 2023, it was before the world championship, so Eric was still the world champion. So how was that to
Mhm.
defeat a current world champion?
Well, I mean, it was just I don't know. It was crazy because especially due to the fact that it was no line caps. Because like before the tournament, we were discussing like, are we gonna line cap it? Like, like because there was the time like when people were starting to implement line caps, and it was kind of like, a question to ask instead of like a given that there will be a line cap.
Yeah,
So like I was like, there should just be a line cap because like what look at what happened in CTWC last year. And then they still went with no line cap because we have all the line out players like Arilla was there and also Huff was there. So like I kind of lost the vote, but then I still won because I don't know, I was playing really good that game. Like my pinky was like I wasn't scared of my pinky that day for some reason. It's just like random. I don't know. It's really hard to explain. But I was feeling really good that day, and I got my PB. I think it was like my second 1.5 or like my first 1.5. I forgot, but I PB'd versus Eric or Arilla. But yeah, um, it was a crazy day for me.
Pizza Fantasy Podcast is brought to you by shopctnmerch.com, shop official Classic Tetris Network and Pizza Fantasy Podcast merchandise only on shopctnmerch.com. What was the idea behind Padless? Why did you want to make a controller that use no pads?
So yeah, this idea started actually at Blank Garage 2023. Um, the like the pads part of the controller is basically the main point of failure that we found. It's usually the pads that always go first. And, you know, it's always been like, I have bad pads. It's like, oh, I need to replace my pads. Like they blame the controller. Whenever someone blames the controller, it's usually either due to pads or to PCB.
Yeah,
And I was just thinking like, what if we use like mechanical switches instead of like these pads because the pads, you know, they're like if you're using original pads, they're like 40 years old, and like, even the new pads and the old pads too, like they have minor differences in them that like, when you're at a top level, I think like the better you get at Tetris, the more selective you are with your controllers and like the more you can notice these minor differences between different controllers. And,
Yeah.
especially at a top level, like I, I know players who just like can't play on other controllers nearly as well as they can with like a good controller. Like like what is it? Yeah, like I think of Meme, for example. Like she's always been like a good player. She's always been good, but you know, ever since she was able to, finally get a good controller, um the DMJ, yeah, DMJ offered up his controller, and then she started making really fast progress. And I think most of that is due to just being confident in the controller, like being confident in the fact that your inputs are going to go through and that piece is going
Yeah.
to go over. Like it just allows you to play so much higher and like so much more aggressive on 29. So like that's what that's what really you need. I think you need a good controller to be a top player
Yeah.
nowadays. That's why we started this.
We'll even see just in high level tournaments, like things will happen that are obviously a controller malfunctioning.
What do you mean by you wanted to replace the pads with mechanic?
Rubber, instead of using metal, always be less consistent, less durable. There's a whole industry around like the gaming hardware, like mice and keyboards, and implement it into a controller that can be used on these 40-year-old consoles.
Weren't you surprised that you were the first very much to think about something like that?
Okay, so we weren't necessarily the first to think about it, but I believe we're definitely by far like the people who have put the most amount of effort into making this idea like an actual thing. Like this idea has like definitely been bounced around before. Like nobody's ever like actually put in the time and effort to make it a reality, and that's what our
Yeah.
mission is.
So, when did you got the first idea? And so I believe, because I read on the website that you got the idea in 2023, but you didn't had any experience with modding a controller or building a controller yourself. So what changed basically?
Well, when I first got into the scene, like all the way back, like one of the first things that I did when I was learning rolling was experimenting around with like 3D printed objects that could maybe make it easier. So I had like this extension to the control that let me anchor it better. Almost 3 years of experience with like hobbyist CAD and 3D printing. So I knew that that's something that I could leverage to like, just make any sort of implement to make this kind of thing easier. That is where I started like, I already had the idea of like, okay, there's things that can be done to improve like just the difficulty that controllers are for many people for many different reasons. Ben, you really were more like the electrical engineering.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, basically, how I was talking about like how people wouldn't be able to put in the time or effort or wouldn't want to, like that was basically how I was in the beginning because like I had no 3D design experience whatsoever. Like so learning that was like kind of a daunting task to me, but and also I didn't have a method to like, 3D print it at the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't really till like 2024 when, like Meme and I were racing to crash because I had like level 90 and she had like a little over level 100. So we were racing to crash, and then Meme got the crash, and then shortly after, my controller started breaking, and I opened it up, and it's turned out that like my pads were like completely torn, like the buttons were torn off of the pad structure itself. So I was just
Yeah.
dropping inputs, and then there was a very long time where I just wouldn't be able to play the game because any of the pads that I tried just didn't really work that well, and they would double flip or like some other issue that was controller related, and it was just like really frustrating for me, and it made me kind of just not want to play the game at all because like why would I want to play the game if it's like
Yeah.
doing this to me?
What with the idea of penance in the back of your mind, where you're like, okay, this is now the time to do it, or you're like, okay, one more time and I'll quit the game forever.
The second and the third time that I got to meet up with Ben in person, I made him this gift. It was a custom controller shell for his like OEM original like PCB and pads. Even that like didn't really work. So he already like kind of in the mindset of like, okay, we're modeling things around, we're changing things in our controllers. So do you think it was ever a moment of like quitting for you? Like, yes.
Um, like in terms of controller malfunctions,
I mean, I
or
can tell your
Yeah.
morale was very low about the game
yes.
at the time. You
No,
were,
yeah, I was really just like sick and tired of, you know, playing the game, and then like it's like really demotivating because like my mechanics were still like not that great. Today they're still not that great, but like you know, I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better, but still like morale at that time was very low, and I was on the verge of like, taking a long break because I feel like, I could never like actually quit the game like ever. But yeah, I would kind of just like I was thinking about like just not playing for a long period of time. But then I
Yeah.
remembered this idea in 2024 or 2023. But then the thing that made me really go for it was that, she had the CAD experience, and then I also I had this idea to use, mouse switches in the D-pad. Because in the beginning I was thinking about like, what if I just use keyboard switches? But then I was thinking like, I don't know, like I don't know how good that would be because like the thumb pressure bit of it would be a little strange, but and also like the ratings for the keyboard switches, like you'd be slamming it into itself, and I feel like that would kind of like diminish it a little bit. I don't
Yeah.
know, but in my mind I just didn't see it as like viable. But then I thought about like mouse switches because like in particularly Minecraft, like Minecraft PvP, like Minecraft, what is it? Like bridging. Yeah, so there's like this thing called Bed Wars where you're on islands, you're fighting different people, and like you have to go like destroy the enemy bed and kill them all, right? They
Yeah.
don't spawn back if you destroy their bed. And like basically you have to bridge across because there's like a big void beneath. And like a lot
Yeah.
of the top Bed Wars players, they do this technique called drag clicking, and like basically they have like their mouse, and then they like put like a little piece of tape over it, and then they like run their finger across. It's kind of like bolt tapping. Basically it's basically bolt tapping, and then they bolt tap on the mouse, and they get like 60 clicks per second or something crazy like that. Yeah, so like I was thinking like, what if we just put a mouse switch in this idea? Like this would definitely last. Yeah, that's what really, pushed me to actually make this a reality.
So, what was it like to make the first prototype of Padless?
Yeah. So I don't know, the first really like mock-up model, it was like really just like a concept idea, right? I kind of wanted to just see if it would work. No spoilers. But yeah, basically I was like, I saw the mouse switches on Amazon for like $10. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Like I'll just buy them. And then I got them in the mail, and then to test if it actually worked, like I was sure it would work, but I just wanted to like feel it, like I wanted to feel like the clicky action of the mouse switches and
Yeah.
everything going on the console. So I drilled a couple of holes in the PCB, like 3 holes on each side to fit all the pins of the mouse switches, and then I ripped off the top layer to like access the copper on the PCB, and I like soldered some wires from the mouse switches to the copper underneath to like get it to connect to the circuit. And it worked. And it felt really good. It felt really, really good, especially like, you know, like I tried jittering, I tried rolling on it. It really felt amazing. So yeah, it's kind of just the basis around that.
And from the start, did it fit within the NES Tetris sizes, control sizes, or was this a little bit bigger?
Yeah, so it was, yeah, I mean it wasn't really meant to like fit in the original shell. I mean it didn't fit in the original shell with this exact like first model because that it's designed to where the D-pad would fit on top, and there would basically be like very little clearance because the pads are like very thin. So like the pad
Yeah.
would just like fit in that slight gap. So the mouse switches definitely wouldn't fit in the OEM just like over a D-pad without any modifications. So yeah.
Is that the goal, to fit it in a original NES controller like
so
shell?
yeah, um, not the original.
No, but the same dimensions.
So yes, yeah, we're really aiming for this to be a faithful recreation of controller.
How do you try to balance it? Like, with you try to shape everything and make it as perfect as possible. But with Padless now, the main playstyle in the top for top players is rolling, but like everyone else below that is playing dash, is playing tap. Are you trying to make a controller that's mainly suited for top players, or do you really try to make a control for everyone?
Definitely a controller for everyone. We've been sort of working from the top down in a sense, where roll is like the playstyle that is most demanding of a controller.
Yeah.
And what we found is if a controller works even decently well for rolling, it works for dash. So everyone that we've showed, Wallband's been really helpful with testing. The Scout played on it with dash. A lot of people have played on it with dash, and everyone's saying like it's perfectly dashable. This is nice. I was literally yesterday at the B&B here in Hartford. I if I can get level 30 with this, and then immediately got level to like first try, like super casually. We're really optimistic about the potential of this with that, especially because we're seeing increasing reports of even DAS players struggling with control issues.
Yeah.
Giovanni is a really good example of this recently. Arguably the best DAS player in the entire world, being held back by the controller. It seems ridiculous, but that's just the level of like, you know, this inconsistency that old hardware is at. So we're definitely trying to make a controller for everyone, and not even people who play Tetris. We want this to be a controller that is good and it feels good to use and it feels premium for people that play any games on the NES.
Yeah, but is it that it seems like it will be hard to promote it, because you're fully into the NES Tetris scene, but it's like the NES is, what is it, 45 years old right now. So it's, who are playing NES games? Like nerds like us and all that.
Yeah.
It's a small market, but it's a very passionate one.
Oh yeah, no, like we have especially like a few players at least like getting the word out there in the Mario community, like for example like Cosmic, one of the best Mario speedrunners in the world and a huge content creator. Like he's a big fan of the project. I know Eyeball is a big fan. Like we're getting the word out there to all the speedrunning communities. That's our goal. And also like, yeah, a lot of the NES developers. There's still people developing NES games in like 2025, which is crazy to me. But they're just people who are so passionate about the NES and how it works.
Yeah.
And even they're interested in it. So we have like a lot of people who are. It's like it's to a level, it's even like surprising to us how many people are like as passionate about this project as we are.
Oh yeah, every time we bring this to regional events, we have like half a dozen people just approach us and be like, "What is that?" and want to try it out and be like, "This is super cool." Like, we know when they're available.
But right now that is. But what was the reception of the players when you first announced that you were trying to make a Padless controller?
Well, I don't know. I think we expected it to be like a little more mixed in terms of like, is it like this shouldn't be legal, or like this should totally be allowed like everywhere. But I think overall it was like very positive, like especially in monthly Tetris, where we were talking about it the most, like the server Classic Tetris monthly Discord. Um a lot of positive feedback, a lot of positive responses, and like motivating us to keep going with the project and all that.
So I also feel like that every time you go to a live event or regional, you bring the latest version of Padless of the controller, and people play, and aren't they like excited that when it is coming out?
Yes.
When can we buy it? When is the release date?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Check it out. Yeah.
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 I am so excited to play on one of these controllers one day.
Oh yeah.
Excited to get it.
You're excited, yes.
Yeah, very cool shells.
But yeah, so one of our most recent like innovations on this is going back to where we started basically, and using, actual machine springs basically. So yeah, until until like I'd say like a couple of weeks ago or like a few weeks ago, we were still using like plastic springs in our models using like the flexible plastic. But now we're kind of returning back to the mechanical spring idea, and it's been really working out well for us. Been developing like our own stabilization techniques for the switches inside, and they're a lot more consistent, a lot more stable, and they will last definitely longer than they would if they were like plastic springs, of course.
How do you try to look for the best components within the controller? Like, okay, you try to the mechanic springs, then you plastic springs, switch back to the mechanic springs. Like, is it always trial and error? And then when you think, okay, this is good, but we need to try to test something else to see if it's really good.
A lot of ideas. Number of like major prototypes for the actual like mechanism that just like the A B buttons are super straightforward. Literally just a keyboard switch with.
And the models that you just showed, are those the models that you always do you also want to sell, or are you still in the final part of the development?
So I'd say yeah, we are still, ironing out a couple of kinks. Nowadays, like these controllers that we have here, they're pretty functional. We're nailing down like our goal is to like nail down the functionality of the controller first, and then once we are like 100% confident, we're gonna work on like how it looks and like if it's gonna look really nice and like adding a couple of like convenience features to it. But yeah, our goal with this is to really just like deliver the most quality product that we can get.
Yeah.
And we just want to take our time with every little aspect of the controller before, we finally release it to the public.
So have you played matches with the controller to see if it's really functional, or are you waiting to when the controllers are competition legal?
Um, well, like you played at Detroit with the Padless model, yes. Although, yeah, so the thing is, uh, we're so busy with like development of Padless and also like school starting again. And we really spend like a lot of our free time, or if not all of it, towards Padless.
Yeah.
And so we really only have time. We budget our time to go to the CTWC regionals, and as you know, they do not allow it as of today.
Yeah.
So we're not really able to play matches with it yet, but we have done friendlies like with each other.
Yeah. Are you working with CTWC to get it tournament legal?
Are
Yes.
we're very optimistic. We're working really hard to make this a faithful recreation of the controller, both in how it looks, how it performs, how it actually functions. Like there's no fancy buttons, no turbo, no nothing extra. It's just a different way of closing the same circuit
Yeah.
original controllers do, except we're using our more reliable hardware because it's a competitive scene. It's a scene where tens of thousands of dollars are up in the air for competition annually.
Exactly.
We think competitive integrity is something that's really important, but we think CTWC also values that. So once we have that we're confident in, we're gonna make sure to like send one to Vince. We'll had continued talks with them about that, and
Yeah.
we're really excited to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the plan from now to the future to when you want to release the controllers for sale?
Yeah, we're just trying to like iron out the final kinks in the terms of functionality wise. Um, we're just really trying everything that we can think of. That's really the best way to go about this. We're not off the bat saying like, "Oh, that's not gonna work," because like, how are we gonna know if it doesn't work unless we try it?
I
Yeah.
told Ben the other day that we're at the point in the prototyping stage where the sign that we're done will be when we've made so many new prototypes and none of them are better than like an especially good prototype we had earlier. Like when our new ideas stop yielding better results,
Yeah.
we're certain that we've sort of reached the end. We also want to redesign the shell to like this is not will look. These are a lot uglier than the final ones will look, just because we're prototyping rapidly. We're spitting them out. We just need something that works. We have a
Yeah.
design that we really like. We'll make sure to put that in a shell that is beautiful and that reflects like the original controller. Have promotionals, things like that. We want to have. We want to make sure that once people start ordering these, we're ready to ship them out quick.
Yeah. And
We're really truly in the final stages.
and when do you know that something is that's the criteria are met? Do you have something written on a paper that this is what a controller should do, or are you like this is a feel why when it's better or when it's not better? What are those criteria?
Well, yeah, it's like I'd say it's like a combination of like, if it feels better or worse than previous prototypes. And then also of course we have like a couple of features that we want to include that we haven't quite, done a lot with yet. And that's what we're kind of saving until after we nail down the functionality of the controller itself. But overall, we want it to be the most functional NES controller. Like you buy it and you guaranteed will get a very functional, high quality, robust NES controller without like the guesswork of, is this gonna be a good controller or not? Like I don't know
Yeah.
until I don't know until I feel it. Yeah.
And what is the idea of how long should the controller last? Like, should it be 5 years? Should it be 10 years? Should it be, I don't know, 2 years?
I think that will definitely scale with like how much you use it. What I will say is I've been using these prototypes for really almost a year now, looking back to and at no point have any of my prototypes like even started to give out. The change of them hasn't like hasn't failed, or like the feel of them hasn't changed rather. And we know for a fact like okay, hardware we're using and I play the game way more than I should. Because it's less time to work on the controller.
Are you planning to make everything in-house, or are you looking for third-party companies that are making those things for you?
Well, for the PCBs, we do send them off. We send off the files to a third party manufacturer, based in China, for the PCBs at least. But for the shells, as of now, we make them all in-house, but we are looking into, potentially leveraging external sources for certain parts of the controller. Yeah, like specifically, maybe the AB buttons or the D-pad buttons themselves, like making them more durable with
Yeah,
the material.
And also, I think you have to make the right decisions right away because resources are not widely or great available.
Yes.
Has it caused sleepless nights that you made a decision where like this is the stupidest decisions that we could make?
about Boston.
Yeah, we can talk about Boston. So, I came over to her place prior to the event because, I don't know, I just wanted to spend some extra time with her as well as get this final prototype done to present it to the world basically. And
Yeah.
then like a couple days before or a day before Boston, I started to get sick because like my dad got sick and he passed it on to me just as I went on the flight. And then oh gosh, this comes into play later, but yeah, so we were making a lot of progress on the iterations, doing many different tries at the D-pad especially, and like overall assembly, detachable cable, we're all getting that right. We were like, dang, we were just working all night. It's like the night before our flight to Boston. We were working the whole night. Um, she didn't really sleep at all. I personally could not pull the all-nighter because I was just like very sick. I was very sick. And like the lack of sleep in these nights. Like, I don't know, it was getting better and then I got worse again because I just wasn't getting sleep. And we were just like all like working on this 24/7. And then yeah, we were working on it like right up to when we had to leave for the airport. We were still working on it, like
Oof.
basically.
But it got
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, and it, it done, but it was not to the really learn how to budget your time. So into every regional we've shown this off at, there we're leading up to either the flight or over. I've pulled all nighters from just really trying to make sure that we can get like the prototypes like at these regionals. It's very important that we get feedback. We don't get a lot of opportunities for top players, rollers and Tetris players in general.
Yeah.
These so Ben and I have become sort of blind to like some of the issues with Padless because we're used to using them a lot. And it's moments like these where it's really important that we get this quality feedback.
And I can imagine that because there are not many prototypes, you can't send them out really to the top players to, let's see, try test it for 1-2 weeks and give the feedback.
I mean, we have done a sort of thing where we have like sent out a few of the prototypes to a couple of players who really support our project. They did end up giving us some really good feedback to carry into the future models. It was around like the Detroit time where we sent this out. So yeah, it was really their help, their advice, and their critiques on the controller were just invaluable to the progress of our project as a whole. But yeah, we can't really do something like that too frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want people who are testing it to get a good model, basically that would last a decent amount of time. Yeah.
I get that. And how's the controller right now? You're in Harvard right now for the Retro World Expo qualifier regional, and are people coming up right as you walk into the venue? Like, can we try the Padless controller?
Yeah, basically the goal with each prototype is not only to like work on like the overall functionality of it, but it's also to like reduce the learning curve
Yeah.
that people have to go on to like be able to use the controller at full capacity. Like these newer models are just like so much easier to get used to, and like we're adding so this is a new feature we're adding. We're adding customizable travel distance, which basically makes it so that how a normal D-pad, it doesn't really have the same thank you. It doesn't really have the same amount of travel distance as our padless models do, because mouse switches have a very small travel distance. That's how people are able to get like really fast inputs on them,
Yeah.
just because it barely has any travel distance. So like, I don't know, some people were critiquing our last prototypes and saying like, I kind of want it to feel more like a regular D-pad. Like it doesn't feel like a regular D-pad, and it's like, I was thinking like, what does a regular D-pad do? Like it like travels a lot more when you like press it down versus when it's like held up. And that's what we've kind of been implementing on our models is like, shrinking down the part which contacts the mouse switch
Yeah.
to allow for it to like, have a slight travel distance before it clicks.
Do you think that in the future you can also customize the controls, or is it you only want to sell a one and done controller and this is the configuration that you get?
Well, yeah, so we want to basically make a lot of customizable features about the controllers, like we said, the buttons, for buttons for the travel distances, and the springs for like the different sort of like return force you get when you press it down. It's like, some players like it heavier, some players like it lighter.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have, options for a lot of people, as well as like, customizing like the shell itself and like the colorways and like the cable and
Yeah.
like, the feel and the looks will be customizable, as well as the switch type. Like we have the buttons, they can either be we are gonna have like tactile and like linear options. Might even add a clicky option. Who knows? But yeah, there's a lot of possibilities with for customizability with these for sure.
It's funny to me because when the rollover happened, when game crash happened, when rebirth happened, every time people say the game is dead, we can't progress the game any further. It might be true for the game. It might be true for the game, but I feel like behind the scenes and like the community-wise, we keep growing and growing and growing and keep maturing. And this is one example to it, but also CTMC, CTM growing in size. Media is picking up Tetris more and more. So I feel like we still try to keep the community forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is definitely, you know, our contribution to this community. You know, we want to give everybody access to a good controller, you know, that works really well so they can play at a top level too and not have to worry about like, oh, is this like my fault or is this like the controller's fault? You know, like you never have, there's no guesswork with this. This is just like it's good. Like it's just good off the bat and reliable and it'll last you a while. Yeah, and also like, you know, casual players will use it too. Like it's very comfortable. It's very it has a nice feel to it. And it has appeal to all audiences. We want to market it to everybody, really.
Yeah. I think in 2, 3, 4 years, you'll play Tetris, NES Tetris, on a clone console with Tetris Gym and a Padless controller. So you play NES Tetris without any of the original hardware, software, whatever.
Oh yeah. No, especially as you mentioned, like the scenes moving forward, like as players get better at rolling, you know, and I bring back a point I said earlier, like the better someone gets at Tetris, like the more selective they are about their hardware. The more people have gotten better at Tetris, like after like the crash and rollover happened, like a lot. I noticed a lot more people like complaining about controllers.
Yeah.
You know, like because players are getting better and like the scene is adapting. A lot more players are getting like into the 2 millions, like above rollovers, and like they start to realize like, you know, like I didn't do that. Like the game did that, or like I did do that, but the game did it.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah.
We need to keep track of a rollover list instead of the max out list. A max out is cool. When you get your very first max out, it would be very cool.
Yeah.
But like the new list, the new max out list is pretty much the rollover list.
Yeah, no, like I remember when I got my first max out and I was like number 100 and like 5 or something, I forgot, but I was really low. But now there's like almost 500 or more than 500.
Yeah, I feel like when I finally max out, I will be 1,204 or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. With Padless, it might be sooner than that.
You might send me a control, send me a controller. I might be after 3 years.
Yeah, for sure. We are definitely gonna get that international shipping set up for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm very excited for the future of Padless, but also, final question for you: what are your personal goals within NES Tetris for the next year?
So for the next year, my personal goals are to, you know, get this controller allowed, and then, you know, once it gets released, I really plan to sink many hours into the game again. I haven't grinded to get good at Tetris. I'd say in like since probably a year ago since I, you know, was racing meme for the crash. It's been a very long time. And I feel like once this controller gets launched, I feel like, you know, it would be really good promotion. Like we want to put on, you know, a tournament involving this controller. Like it would definitely be, you know, to get the word out there basically. And also
Yeah.
I was planning to do some crash grinding and like colors grind, you know. I feel like that would be just like a very fun time. And also like, you know, a time to like demo the controller and like really push it to its limits, you know.
Great. For me, I'd say, I had already mentioned, you know, like goals in the game. I want to get a rollover. I want to do all these things. And similar to Ben, it's really focusing on this now. Part of the drive to get this done is because I love the game so much and I want to be able to practice it more and not feel like I'm wasting time that I could be spending on this. But past that, I love this community and I have a lot of ambition for it. People might have seen me talking about how I want to help with production. I think production's a really important thing. I think it's a very exciting sport we have, and the production we have, the commentary that we have, should really reflect that. Should really make it accessible for all sorts of viewers. It's an incredible spectacle that deserves to be just like portrayed as such.
Yeah.
And I also want to get back to live streaming. Like I mentioned earlier, my foray into this community was live streaming, and it's something that I enjoyed greatly. And I'd fallen out of it. I don't have the time and not really the motivation anymore. But once I do have the time, I'll return to that. As well as content creation. I think content creation is a very important thing. We've seen players like Sharky, like Guafi, like Cole, all of them have been doing amazing things with that. Because that's one of the best ways that like new players can come into the scene. Every
Yeah.
major new generation of Tetris players has followed like a viral YouTube video or a viral moment like Game Crash.
Yeah.
So just really wanting to grow the scene and mature it. I'm so happy to be a part of it. And I'm so happy that the people are excited about what we're doing because it all goes back to a love of the game.
Yeah, it does. It does, and I feel what you say. That is also what I want to do with the network and with trying to give back to the community and let people join the community. And also what I say, what you do and what Ben does with Padless and trying to revolutionize the controller side of NES Tetris or NES in general. That is amazing. So I wish you all the best for the coming year. I hope that maybe late 2025, early 2026, Padless will be live and I can buy the controller and play and finally get my new PB. But for now, thank you for joining me on a Piece of Fantasy podcast.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us on. We won't leave you hanging on the controller. I'll give you back to Ben so he can give his final part. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I want to say, thank you to you for letting us on this podcast. It certainly is an honor to be interviewed on this, and thank you for, this is also just like a huge opportunity for us because we really want to get the word out there for Padless, and we want everybody who is into Tetris and into NES in general to have one of these controllers and really just do their best, like pure, like our goal is to just like make pure skill the determinant on how well you do at a certain like tournament or like how well you play a certain game. Like it should just be up to your own skill instead of the hardware failing you. That's our goal.
It should. Okay, Ben and Ava, thank you so much for joining me here on PDP this month.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
With that all being said, this is the end of the Piece of Fantasy podcast. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to follow us on the socials, hit us on the link tree, and I'll see you all for the next episode. Bye! Piece of Fantasy podcast is brought to you by shopcityandmerch.com.